requesting with Elizabeth is so. I see what your concern is. So the meeting. Yes. Okay. I understand. So the meeting that you're going to have, where you're requesting with Elizabeth, is going to have questions from us asking for direction.
Yeah. Yes. Like, how can I get some help? What can I do? Because I've got to have some clarity of,
Basically, what the PwC does, essentially, is we do help with self-employment. Here's the thing. It's for small business. When we look like that we've supported in the past is, excuse me, I'm washing my hands, that we've helped in the past have been coffee shops, right, for persons making coffee.
Right.
Whatever. And it's a very small entity. It's nothing anywhere near like a chain or anything in regards to large, sums of money being, received. We've helped with people that build certain things, like there's people that have built birdhouses, and tapped into that industry. Or like in your case, you proposed possible sheds, right? And you would sell kits. So that is something that could be, but that's not what you're wanting to do shed kits with your hempcrete. What you're wanting is just to sell your brick, like installation brick, right?
Well, I'm all for selling the shed kit, but you have to have a customer regardless. So whether I'm saying that I'm selling the block so that way it can be put into a shed kit, or whether I'm just saying, hey, I'm selling the block, it's not really irrelevant. We're still selling widgets either way, so that's all that matters is that I'm in the widget business and I manufacture widgets, We just happened to gave an idea because that's what we were told. We were told, well, you're gonna need a pathway for how you're gonna sell these, and so we said, okay, well, we'll start with sheds because sheds doesn't really require a lot of building code things. It just basically made it a much easier entry into the marketplace. Really.
Okay, go ahead.
No, just a safer buy-in, and so I understand what you're saying, and I understand everybody's thing there saying, oh, well, this is what we're used to doing, I just need to know, is somebody going to be able to help me? Because that's where I'm at. Like I said, I'm at year 3. I've been asking for help. I'm a disabled veteran. I have all the paperwork. I turned in all the stuff. I got evaluated. My doctors made recommendations. All of that's fallen to the wayside. It is what it is. I'm just saying, I've hung around this long because there's been a couple of people that have said, hey, we'll figure this out together. But if the reality of that occurring is not, really feasible, then I'd rather just be told up front because, I've spent several years of my life doing this now, and, it seems to me, like the state is not equipped, doesn't have the potential executive leadership, whatever is required, to bring a small business like this to fruition. So in other words, there's a definition of small business that you all go by, but you're not putting that in clear CFR code for the client to read. And I'm not saying that to you as a personal attack. I'm just saying the entity itself, because as far as I know, a small business is defined as an employer with under 500 employees or doing under, X amount of dollars in a year. And so,
yes, it's just, it can be depending on the business. But if you're saying that you would be willing that your business this is where we're confused. Because my understanding is you were going to be making hempcrete for installation for the sheds. And they were going to be able to buy the hempcrete for a kit to put their sheds together with the hempcrete, and you would be selling that as your business, as your package for your start off. Is that correct? That's our understanding.
Yeah,
is what you're wanting to do.
We're looking for any entryway into the arena that we can obtain, and this is part of the struggle. Exactly, is that I'm being asked right now, like, what is it that you're wanting to do? But we've gone through so many versions of what I can potentially or can't potentially do. And again, if you go back through the documents, it's just supposed to be like, hey, what kind of job does the client really want to do? And how are you going to assist him in getting them there? And again, I just want to reiterate, we're 3 years into this, and I'm basically making it clear that all along, I've wanted to be a manufacturer of this block. I want to manufacture these blocks.
Okay. So that's what we need to know exactly, because it to me, the way that it reads, the way that the feasibility study was made, was that your business was going to be selling hempcrete installation into shed kits, and that you were going to be selling shed kits with hempcrete as part of the kit, is what we received. That was what you were going to do.
And
you're saying it's not so much that, it is that you want to sell hempcrete, period. And
yes.
It can be used anywhere.
Yes.
Someone chooses to purchase.
Yes.
For installation for sheds, homes, buildings, whatever.
Yes. Yes.
We have to have it at a scale that is feasible within the area you live. So who are the customers that are going to purchase this? Who are the vendors who are going to allow you to sell your hempcrete from there? Or are you going to have an online business? Is this going to be a business that you're going to do online and you're going to be shipping, to whomever?
Yes. Yes.
So that's what we need to know.
Exactly.
The level of degree in which is feasible,
right,
that someone's going to purchase. So, in other words, we would essentially, you would have to get a machine, right?
Right.
You're starting off. So your kickoff is going to be at a small scale. Now, you can take it to a larger scale later, at any time. But when we're involved, we're talking small business.
Mm-hmm.
So multi-million-dollar machinery is not something we can do, because that's like a corporation, and we don't support corporations because you're talking big money. But if you have something,
but Norma, hold on real quick there. That's just where the clarity really has to come in. Is that where's the parameters? Because you're making a definition there of what defines a small business and what the dollar.
Hold
on. Can I finish?
Because you're saying something that I didn't say. Let me step in and clarify, because that's not what I said. So before you get upset, because that's not what I'm wanting. We're talking small business, meaning you and possibly a helper would be creating these bricks. So
is that the
support? That's not the definition, but this is an example of a business that there's no definitions. There's no definitions whatsoever. I'm trying to explain to you what it is that we do and how we support customers in self-employment.
Right.
They would be like, you're the owner, right? This is your business.
Right.
And like, let's just say you would be creating the brick. We're going to buy you machinery for you to create the brick. But I know you have disabilities, right? So you would have a helper to help you, create your bricks, right? And then you would have that helper help put that brick, help, sell that brick or transport it or whatever it may be. But you would be the hands-on person for that, right? So you might get in your truck and go, and your helper go to the rock place where they sell, these kinds of things. And you go, and then your helper unloads your truck, and you're like, okay, I just, we have an agreement. I'm going to sell my stuff from yours. You're going to buy it from me and sell or whatever, however that works out. Those are things that we would have to see. But it's not so much like you're the CEO directing people to do that for you. You would actually be the one hands-on as well as being the owner. You know what I mean? Kind of like a barber who owns a barber shop. They own the barber shop and they might have like 3 or 4 clients.
Yeah.
They have 7 chairs that they rent.
Right.
So other barbers can come in and purchase monthly to use that chair.
Right.
So you can have just a handful of customers that they see, every 2 weeks or every month that they may actually do on the hands-on work, whereas they have these other chairs that other barbers can pay them, so they don't have to work as much. So that's an example of a business that we've supported in the past.
Right.
So for you and your business, because it's starting, and this is a small business, mm-hmm. So the parameters that we can work and support would be you being there hands-on with your helpers or whoever your support. We can't pay them, but you would be the one to provide that if they want to volunteer for free, because we've seen people do that with the coffee shops. They'll be like, oh, I can volunteer like 4 hours a day, to help out and work, and get some volunteer hours. So they'll come in and then they'll actually be working the register for free, right? Register, making coffee, or they'll come in clean because they care about the person, the owner, or they care about the business, because the person tends to have a disability, so people tend to want to help.
Right.
It would be something that you could do is like, okay, yes, I am gonna start the machines. I'm gonna, pull up the, inventory and stuff like that, and I'm gonna do a lot of that. And, my helper is gonna be the one doing the press, running the machine. And I'm going to go in and I'm going to be supervising and monitoring them as they do it. But they would either be someone you would pay or they would do it for free. You see what I mean? Until you grow, right? Because the sky's the limit. Once we're out, we're out. You do whatever you want with your business.
Right.
But starting out, I'm not saying like I'm not putting any definition. I'm not putting any parameters. But the kickoff has to be something reasonable. It has to be something that's feasible. I mean, that reasonable being that if you get a bid for this many units, there's a machine that can do that isn't multi-millions. You know what I mean? You have a machine that can do your bid starting out. Right? So you have enough, and then as you grow, as businesses grow, you add more things like coffee shops. It may just initially just sell dairy products, and they'll have no non-dairy stuff. But let's just say they're doing so well in their business, and they're bringing in extra money. So you know what? We're going to add non-dairy creamers now. Mm-hmm. So, 6 months later, a year later, they can offer non-dairy. So now they have non-dairy options and with dairy with their coffee shop. Let's just say a year from there, they're like, you know what, we're doing great. Let's add some pastries. I wanna, expand and add pastries to the menu. Like, let's start with 2 cookies, a sugar cookie, chocolate chip cookie.
Right.
So now they were selling coffee, dairy coffee only.
Okay, hold on, time out real quick, Norma. I'm on it.
That's what it looks like.
Yeah, okay. Okay, I'm gonna get real clear with you, so that way you can see what it looks like from my side. Okay, so what it looks like from my side is that we need to go through the paperwork, and if we have to have somebody from the legal team on the phone call, then that's what we need to do. But we need to go through the paperwork, and we need to make sure that we are following this paperwork, these legal documentations to the T, and determining exactly what is within the scope of the TWC's capabilities, and not that we're, going off of these. This is what we've done in the past, because basically that's what you told me is that. Well, let me finish.
Because you're going off. No,
ma'am, I'm not going off. Hold on, just a second. Wait a second there. No, I am not going off at all. I am not going off at all. You're not. I understand you're trying to stop me, but I have a right. I have a right to express myself just as well as you do, and you don't have the right to tell me that I need to stop. I mean,
yes, I do, because you're twisting my.
Ma'am, excuse me. You
go because I didn't want to upset you, but I do know you're listening to me and you're adding other things to what I'm saying, so I can help you understand, because you're asking me to do that, and I've done that, and now you're getting upset saying you're going to bring legal involved and that I'm putting parameters. That is not what I'm doing. And I didn't want to have this conversation with you regarding your business. I didn't want to because of this. So I'm trying my best to make you understand what we're trying to do as an agency. But when you're changing my words around, that's when it becomes an issue and you're not listening.
Which word?
You're becoming upset because you're not listening to my message.
Which words?
That's why it needs to stop. It needs to stop. Not in regards to stop talking, I want to hear you. No, let's stop. Because if the message isn't getting across correctly, and I don't want to add more stress.
Well, no, it should just be with clarity. I mean, it shouldn't be.
I'm trying to give you clarity, but you're going off on a tangent on something totally different. So it's got to stop. It's got to end.
A tangent.
Yes, because you're saying we need legal involved, we need legal definitions. Sir, I'm not talking about that kind of stuff, and I'm not denying anything to you. That's not what I'm saying. I'm giving you valid examples of what can happen with us being of a support to you, but you're not wanting to take the message the way I'm trying to deliver as examples, not saying that you need to go get a coffee business or it needs to run just like a coffee business runs because that's what you've seen. No, that was just examples.
Oh.
Examples.
Okay, I understand that part. Okay, I can understand that part. I can appreciate that part. So you're talking about examples, and so all I'm asking for as a client is that after 3 years, and those being the examples that you're going to offer me, which I have heard those examples before, then basically now that we have those examples, how does that fit into what it is that I'm doing, and how?
We start small.
Okay, so
That's how a business grows.
Okay, so
initially, and how it could potentially grow, and how does it work for you?
Okay,
so you're going to transfer that information. Okay, I'm going to start small. So starting small means I have 3 places I could possibly reach out to that could possibly sell my product. I can kick it off at this level, right? But as you sell and you grow, then you can add your business on whenever that happens, when you start making some revenue and you can afford things. But we as an agency have to work at a level that's small when you get started.
Okay, so
that's all I'm saying.
So my question is that as an agency and as somebody who's in the leadership position at the agency and who's utilizing these examples for a business such as mine, and you're advising me to begin small, my simple request is somebody I'm in requirement of these accommodations, because clearly I'm struggling with what it is that you're trying to deliver. So, which is okay, So all I'm asking for is that you provide the group or your team provide the group? Because my group has provided plenty. Okay, so I'm asking for, since you all are the professionals in this arena, and you say, well, you've got to start small. Well, you clearly see what it is that I'm trying to do now, and really the information that I've delivered, you know, it's superior to anything that you're going to receive in the future. And so, with that being said, it seems like you should have the people on the team that say, listen, we see a clear pathway for him to begin. This is how much it's going to cost. This piece of equipment should cost him about this much. We'll purchase this, and we'll get him into this site. This will help him to be able to manufacture this particular block, and then he could focus on selling it. Bada boom, bada bang, and there you go.
Well, right, but it also has to tie in on who's going to buy it. So the machinery has to be something reasonable on the product that you're going to be able to provide to sell. You see what I mean? That's what I'm getting at. Like when I was saying, like the coffee shop, they started off with this, like one machine.
Sure. So
they were able to go off of that and grow.
So
right?
so perfect. So yes, so perfect. So we'll take the coffee shop example. And we'll say, okay, well, I want to open up like a small-scale Starbucks. Well, a small-scale Starbucks operates with a certain type of equipment, you know, whatever that equipment may be. Okay, so I'm basically saying, well, I want to start off as a small-scale block manufacturer. So all I'm doing is, from a business perspective, is I'm delivering the block manufacturing equipment, like the coffee-making machine equipment that Starbucks would have. I'm delivering that equipment to mitigate risk and say, listen, this is the equipment that is going to outperform other coffee makers and ensure that our coffee is the most sound and effective and flavorful and delicious coffee that's on the market that protects our clients. And so you as the third party who's coming in to evaluate this says, okay, I feel good about this because you're not just giving out any coffee, just like you're not giving out just any block. You're giving out a premium product that somehow we're involved with, and that we know that as this product makes market entryway, you know, people are going to have a good taste in their mouth because the research has been done. You know, we understand that.
Is exactly what you would say. So there is no confusion. You do understand that this is what you're wanting to do, that this is what you're proposing. But it doesn't necessarily need to be the best, but it could be equal to whatever anyone else is doing, because those are your competitors and you can always put an edge on it.
So that's what I'm saying. So like,
the highest grade, but it could be like at a reasonable rate so that people can afford to buy it, right?
So, but what I'm getting at is, again, you've got to take into consideration that we're dealing with building materials. So if you're dealing if you're dealing with building materials, and we're going to have, you know, checks and balances in this system, then I'm not sure what type of system that you want me to go out there and look at. This is where I'm stuck, is that, like, where can I go and get this block manufacturing system that is designed to provide, you know, risk management with efficiency, with safety, with, you know, all of these different things that you need in this type of business, because we're going to have to fall into OSHA compliance. So, I mean, if those are just the parameters of the cookie shop, then it is what it is. But it's coming down to the fact that you're talking about cost. So in order to
much cost, but that it's a small business, because we only support small business, not enterprises or corporations.
But again, we're not going out of the definition of a small business. I mean, any which way you slice or dice it, this is not going out of the parameters of a small business. I mean, and again, I know you say you don't want to discuss things that are legalities and stuff like that, but that is a very, very legal definition. I know, but I am. That's what I'm telling you.
You're a lawyer?
Oh, yeah. I consider myself to be a lawyer. Absolutely. I have represented major corporations in legal disputes. So, yeah, I consider myself to be a lawyer. So in my best legal judgment that you can go and look up and define, that there are definitions for what small business categories are. I mean, legally, I feel safe saying that. The definition is what the definition is. And for us to try to come outside of the parameters of that, I mean, give me a different definition then.
No, I cannot give you any kind of legal advice or anything in regards to legalities on definitions of small businesses because it's beyond my realm. My explanation to you is because you asked me, what does TWC do? How does it apply? I gave you examples of what we've done. And that was just examples of what we've done. Now, I'm not telling you to go buy a coffee shop or you're going to change it to that or anything like that. It's just having to do with an example of how businesses have gotten started with us and they've grown after our involvement, but they started small.
Right, I understand that, yes.
So in other words, if it's not feasible for you, if you don't have consumers that are going to purchase the block in a way that you're requesting machinery for, that might not be something that would work. So that's why we're saying you're starting small. Let's start small. So slowly, right? And eventually, if it grows, it grows. That's up to you. But,
yes,
to us, that's where we're starting. That's where we are beginning.
I got you. I get that part. So basically, with that being said, then the onus falls on you for you to define for me what exactly that smallness starts out like. Because
goes out in regards to...
Wait. Let me finish real quick. Because, again, we're building a business, and the responsibility falls on the department to help the client kick off that business in the best way possible for success. It's all there in your documentation. So, that being said, all I'm asking for is that you have a team of people. You see what it is that I've delivered. I can bring together all of the components to grow the business into the next level. I can sell the normal. If you and I sat down and we had just a discussion about why you needed to purchase this material, you'd be ready to purchase the material in no time, because it's not about me or you or anything else. It's about selling the product, and do you have a product that can sell? Okay.
Exactly.
So
we even know who's going to.
I know. So let me finish that. So that being said, all of this material that we're talking about is all in the business plan. It's all talked. Hold on. It talks about the General Services Administration and their directive to purchase this type of material. It talks about all of the grant funding that's available out there for this type of material. So all of this has potential clients out there, okay? I can't go and sell until I have something that I can show these clients, that I can say, this is what's occurring in my business plan for my productivity, like how I'm going to produce this. So the business plan is paramount. So I can go to a bank and say, look, the business plan is approved, whatever. Now you guys, however you're, like I said before, are defining small business and saying, look, great plan, whatever. It is what it is. This guy made a great plan. We're going to help him produce a machine that will manufacture 5 blocks or 3 blocks or 1 block, whatever that is. You get it. You understand the science is there. I've given you everything that you need to see. I can bring you more manufacturers that you can see, how they're doing it, whatever it is. So that way the state can say, okay, we're going to manufacture this 1 block with him, and from there, that's it. He could go and sell this block, and then, if he gets approved for that giant machine, that's great, whatever it is, what it is, but there's got to be something. In other words, what is our step? What's going to be our step? What's going to be our conversation on June 3rd when we have this conversation? Because I don't want to go over all this again.
Okay. Sounds good. So you'll have people to give you the answers that you're looking for, And, Elizabeth will have her opportunity to come up with what she's helped you with, and we'll discuss it all then. But I was under the way I thought when you said I need help to understand, I was giving you examples of how we've done it before, and so that it may help you understand, the way that we've developed businesses in the past with other things. But it's not so much that. You would just want to know how much we're going to pay. Is that what you're asking?
It's the same thing that you guys are wanting to know. That's the same question that keeps coming to me, is basically, we want to know from you, what do you want from us? That's the same exact question that keeps coming to me, exactly what you just said. And instead of the
have you requested any bids for machinery?
Yes, I have.
Okay. So, we're talking about, one machine, right? That one machine that's going to help produce the brick, right? Because you're looking for that. Is that correct? Sponsorship for that?
Yeah, I mean, we've looked at other machines as well, but yeah, you have the machine bid, yes. I mean, you know what's going on.
Well, no, I just wanted to make sure that because I was thinking that you didn't know where to start when it came to that, but you already started with getting bids.
Yeah.
For your business?
Yeah, that's what we agreed upon. We agreed upon getting the business plan approved. That's the number one priority, is that once I have the business plan approved, I'm not going to sound so frantic, because then I can be going to the bank and I can be doing a lot of this other stuff that you guys want me to do with some real, with something to deal with. Because, I mean, basically a bank or a grant writer or somebody else is highly likely to come along and go, this is a great plan. You know what I'm saying? It's a great plan. It's a new entry-level product that's a fiber composite stone made with hempcrete, has a small entryway into a booming industry. This type of industry for carbon sequestration this is the next level. I mean, I can give you enough data to prove to any investor to say this is a win-win-win. I've given you data from an MIT specialist saying this needs to get done. That's what I'm trying to understand, is that, like, where does the concern come in? Because there should be an easy way.
I don't know of any concern. We're helping you. We purchased a provider to help you put your business plan together. So once your business plan is put together and what it looks like, then you submit it.
Right. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm getting at. And all I'm trying to get across with you is that I don't think we need to have this back and forth of, like, fearness of, like, oh my God, what's he going to ask for? Just like I don't have this worrisome of, oh, what are you going to pay for? I just want the business plan, and
Maybe that. So I think, is it Elizabeth that's giving you the worry, or who's giving you a worry? Because if you say you just want a business plan and you can go from there, then you can.
Well, I know, but it's partly you too. I mean, you got to accept responsibility in this, what you just said. I mean,
I just did. We gave you the business plan. So we paid for you to get a business plan. So that is our responsibility. I authorized a business plan for you to do and work with one of our providers, and we paid for her to do it with you. And, just like you said, if I'm going to go get loans, I'm going to go get grants, and I'm going to go run with it, well, that's your choice. That is your choice. You can take your business plan and do what you will with it. We helped you with that so that you opened the door for you to do what you will.
Okay.
So your business plan, and we gave you that. That was what we put down as an obligation, that how we're going to support you, and that is what we're doing, the business plan. And now, whatever you choose to do after that, after the business plan is done, you do what you got to do. If you got to go get grants, go get grants. If you got to go get a loan, go get a loan. The business plan opens the door for all of that. So.
Yeah, so it should have never been this difficult to get to this point, right?
I don't know, because I wasn't here before. All I know is now, in regards to what TWC has agreed to do for you, is to get you your business plan so that you can take it and do what you will with it.
Right.
You know, so if you need to use that to go get a grant, because I know you mentioned grants before, that there are grants available for this.
Well, yeah, you guys have too. You got, I mean, I've there's definitely been suggestions from the group counselors in this about all of that.
You can go, and if you want to take your business plan and go apply for a business loan,
right?
You can do that. You don't need our permission.
No, I understand that totally. I mean, there's no confusion about that.
You can do what you will. Do what you will with your business plan, because we opened the door for you to have that business plan. So we paid for it for you to have, and that was supposed to be your support to have that. Now, for purchasing stuff for your business to make it run, you can do what you will with that. If you want to get a loan, if you want to get a grant, if you have investors that you have that are going to be, you know, helping you and stuff like that, that's for you. That has nothing to do with us.
Yeah. So
we already paid for your business plan.
Yeah. So
the ball is in your court.
Yeah.
Ask us to purchase things, to do things. Well, then we're going to get involved and do what we got to do on our end to see whether or not we can do that. But if you can go and get loans and grants and investors and whoever, then you do that. If you can have an investor that's going to pay for your machinery, you go do that. If you can get a loan to pay for your machinery, you go do that. Or you need grants for whatever it is you need grants for that's available to you. You can do that.
Right.
When your business plan is done. That is for you. We don't have anything stopping you from doing something like that.
Yeah.
Your choice. And we gave you resources, right? Small Business Bureau, like there's all these different people, you know, that you can tap into resources to open the door to develop your business. It doesn't have to be us. We developed the business plan, and that is our obligation to you, and we did that. Yeah. What you do from here is you. Whatever you want to do, your investors, your, you know, Richard and, you know, all these, you know, they have open doors for, you know, contacts and stuff like that. If that's what you want to do, then you can do that because we open the door for the business plan. Your funding sources can come from wherever you can find someone to fund you. That is for you. If you're asking us, then we have to go through the whole rigmarole, right? We can't just, you know, all, you know, people get involved in things like that because we have to prove, because purchasing is purchasing. And that's for everything that we're going to pay for.
Yeah.
We have to go through the whole process. But if you find someone else that is going to fund you for that,
yeah,
go for it. Go for it.
Yeah.
Sky's the limit, whatever you want to do. But if you ask us, oh, we want you to pay for this, well, then you know how that goes.
Yeah.
But if you have someone else that is going to buy it for you, and you have volunteers that are going to run your machine for you, hey, that's something you can do. There's nothing saying that you can't.
Yeah.
Because I've seen it. I've seen people volunteer for coffee shops or volunteer like a roofer or a plumber. And they come in because they want the experience.
Right.
Right? Because a lot of times you can't get a job unless you have some experience. So some people will just work for free. I've seen Nick Finney work for free when they first got started and they were trying to build their clientele. And there was an attorney who said, yeah, you can work out of here for free. You don't have to pay no rent. Just, you know, I will put your name on the thing. We'll get you a little sign or whatever. And then, you know, work. And they did. And they brought their clients and they had an office and eventually got branched out and they were able to get their own office, right? But an attorney let them, you know, be there for free. That could be something for you.
Yeah.
You can have something like that. It's like, oh, okay, I have a college student that's, you know, someone in construction or someone that, you know, is wanting to get some experience. They're going to volunteer and run the machine from, you know, 8 to 10 in the morning. They're going to go and get a couple hours. And, you know, volunteering, I'm going to sign off on their volunteer slip, right? So they could take it back to whomever they need to take it to. I mean, those are all things that you can do. You don't necessarily need to ask us permission for that. You don't. It's your business plan.
Yeah.
But if you ask us to pay for something, you know, we're going to go through the whole thing. You know what I mean? But if you can find another funding source, then you can do that.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, that's what I'm trying to do. So.
Yeah. And that is something you can do. If you can find investors, if you can find loans, business. I've had even our smaller business, they've had to get loans, little small loans here and there because they wanted, something added on that we weren't able to pay for, so they had to get a loan for it.
Yeah, that's
right.
Right.
Same thing for you.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, I think that we got the gist of the clarity cleared up here is that once the business plan gets in, as long as your group looks at it and says, hey, this all makes sense, the business plan's approved, whatever that looks like, and then I have a state-approved business plan that I can go to a bank with, whatever, and, if we decide that, there's a piece of machinery or something that you guys can help out with, I don't know. Apparently, we'll make that determination then.
Yes, but if you have a business plan and it's enough for you to be able to...
Yeah, I'm going to do my best. I mean, obviously, you guys know that, well, you should know by now that, I mean, I'm trying to do my best with what I've got, but, yeah.
I mean, it's your choice, your business plan. We paid for a business plan for you. So,
right.
We can talk. I can get some advice as to whether or not it needs to have our stamp of approval in order for you to go get loans. I can clarify that because I'm not 100% sure of whether or not we have to put a stamp of approval for you so that you can go get funding. That is something that I have to get clarification on. But, I mean, it's your business.
Well, yeah, that's. I need the final business plan that's approved.
Right. Okay. Well, and when it comes to, asking those business related questions, we're going to have the professionals from our agency there, per Karen's request. So they'll be there. So the people that were like going back and forth and we're talking to people and coming back and giving you, and then we'd go back and get more information and come back,
Yeah.
We're not going to have that because the people that are going to be giving the information is going to be there.
Okay. Okay, good. All right.
Okay.
All right. Well,
so it kind of eliminates that. You're welcome, and I hope I didn't upset you. I didn't you.
No, I don't want you to think I'm upset with you about anything. I mean, if anything, you've been very helpful. It's just, like I said, it's a little frustrating because, it's been quite some time, and I know that, it is what it is. We're just all trying to figure it out. But, at the same time, I mean, I think that, things will be much better as soon as we make some progress and I can get out of here and we can all be on our way.
Yeah, hopefully we can get it all situated, and then I'm going to be requesting records, and I'll be sending those DocuSigns your way, okay?
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Have a good day.
You too. All right. Bye-bye.
Okay.